Greetings, everyone. This is Pamela Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders What podcast. Today, I believe it's episode 253, doing back-to-back episodes. I just had 252 with a wonderful gentleman. Now is here with another wonderful, amazing friend that I get to know through my podcast over the past few weeks, Mr. Andy Bennetts. We connected about a month ago through a mastermind we took to our common friend, good friend, Jay, the ninja salesperson. And there were a bunch of people, but I will be honest, Andy was one of the first person that really caught my attention because of what he's doing. Is just, just being himself. He has an amazing item, the eGlass, just writing on his glass. And that really caught my eyes. And it was the first person I messaged, hey, Andy, what are you doing? Let's get on a call. And he told me and I said, wow. And the next question I asked him is, hey, do you have a portable version? Because I'm a nomad. I can't carry with me like a full screen, glass. Said, well, that's the making. So whenever you have it, I'll be your first customer. But anyway, so we connected with that. And also Andy is now one of my students and soon to be alumni of my Launchy podcast and 3 challenge. A little bit about him. He runs an educational company using his experience of a teacher and technology. And through his company, they're empowering the future of education and innovative solutions through one of the products they're doing. And I told him my background is e-commerce. I have never seen a product that literally sells itself. We all hear the cheesy line, no, that sells itself. But his product is the first one I have actually saw actually sells itself without you even saying anything. And you will see it through through this conversation. And I just found out something quite interesting, quite fun about him, that he's also DJing. And he was a DJ at a wedding of a friend of a family recently. So we're going to talk about that. So Andy is quite a character in a good way, and I'm super excited to have him here. So Andy, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Payman. Appreciate the opportunity to be on here with you. Been looking forward to this since we originally met. So this is great. This is gonna be fun.
Absolutely, pleasure on mine. So to start with, first of all, tell us, how are you today?
I'm good today. Yeah, I'm really good. You mentioned the cool network that we have kind of come to know of all these people with Jay, and I just spoke with another one of that group earlier today, and working with them to get their eGlass set up and this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a good day. It's a beautiful day here in Southwest Colorado. That's where I'm at. So yeah, I'm excited to talk with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. So for people who don't know you, tell us, who's Andy as a person, as a human being, as a man? We're going to talk about your business and all that later on, but as a person, as a human being, as a man, who's Andy?
Well, I would like to say that I'm a good husband, a good dad. I mean, if everything else gets removed and I have my family, then I will say I'm still okay. I would also say that I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian. I'm a worship leader at our church. Grew up in the same church that I'm now the worship leader in. So that's a big part of my family, or big part of my life, rather. I do love my work. I'm a business owner, so that's a relatively new thing in the last couple of years. Been working with the company for about 12 now, but just owned it for about 1.5 years. So that's a big part of what I do. And we love to travel. We're going to go to Hawaii here in a couple of weeks. Wow. And so that's going to be fun with the whole family. And so we enjoy that stuff. And as you mentioned, I do DJ on the side. I prefer weddings just because that's a fun day, and not the wiki DJ. I'm more of the, just spinning fun tunes and getting people out on the dance floor. So that is me in a nutshell.
We'll talk about that in a moment, but right. Fascinating. So the types of conversation I like to have on my podcast is I like to have like a look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, hence the name Leaders What, because what is business at the base? Business is not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately it's a relationship nurturing process. What I want to do in my podcast is get to know who's Andy as a person, as a human being, first and foremost. So, and to do that, first of all, I'd like to start with a series of rapid fire questions. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Hit it.
All right. What makes you happy as a person?
My family makes me happy. If I'm around my family, then I'm a happy guy.
Beautiful. What makes you smile?
Good music. my family, but good music. I listen to music constantly. So
what is good music for you?
Oh man, I'm rather eclectic. I love jazz. I love rock. I love pop. I love classical music. I'm not a big fan of country, which is odd in my little neck of the woods. That's what I end up playing 90% of the time at my weddings, but it is what it is.
Okay. Were you in a band in high school or university, in college?
I was in a band, so I didn't think this would come up. Yeah, I was in a band in college. Played
Oh,
trumpet and sang backup,
oh,
and yeah, heck yeah, man.
all right.
Martini shop.
See?
Yeah, they're still going up in Pueblo and Colorado Springs. They still gig probably, I don't know, 50 times a year, maybe more than that. So yeah,
Do you join them from time to time?
I did. They had a 10-year reunion a few years back, and we all went up there and jammed out one night. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm not cut out for that. Like I said, I'm a worship leader type deal. So that's more my speed, right? Not out there headband, head jamming to rock and roll, even though I enjoy it. So
You know, Andy, that at the end of each round of a class I run for my podcasting academy, we have a graduation party.
Uh-huh.
You know where I'm going?
Am I your DJ for your party?
Well,
I'm not sure.
well, you'll be when we do a physical, but for now we're gonna do it virtual. If virtual, maybe you say you play the trumpet. Can you play a little bit for us during that party?
Sure, why not?
All right,
Yeah.
okay, looking forward to it. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it in 2 weeks once I'm settled in Malaysia. Anyway, okay. Now let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. Tell us, what makes your heart come alive? What makes your soul set on fire?
Wow. I think seeing my family successful and happy, probably. I mean, I've got 2 young boys. I've got a 14 and a 16-year-old son, and they're both sons. They're both very active in school and in varying things, everything from theater to sports and that kind of stuff. And seeing them excel and be their best self and loving life, that is the thing that probably makes me the most happy.
Beautiful, love that. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
Sad and angry. Jerky people make me angry, like people that mistreat other people. That probably sets me off more than anything. Yeah, people that mistreat other people. I don't have any patience for that. So I'm usually a pretty calm guy, but that'll get my boils. Yeah, they give me my what is that? My blood boiling. There it is. Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Now, what scares you?
The unknown. Whether that's finances, future health, health of other family members. Like I said, I am a man of faith, so I know that God has everything under control. But when finances are low, or when you get a prognosis, diagnosis that you're sick, or someone that you love is sick, that's probably the thing that I hate and am scared of the most.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would you say is your number one personal superpower?
I feel like I'm really easy to get along with. I feel like I get to know people at a real level, not a surface level, but I feel like I'm a genuine person and I enjoy talking to people. So that's why, the podcast option for me is going to be a blast. I can't wait to get started on that, just because I'll get to talk with interesting people. And so, I think just getting to know people and being real and authentic with them and trying to help them as much as I can in any way.
Yeah. Speaking of the podcast, did you set up a date for your official launch?
I don't have an official launch. We've got a couple big trips coming up here in a little bit, and I need to get my first few episodes recorded, obviously. But yeah, I'm hoping August, maybe August 1st, something like that, and get all those, something to that effect. But yeah, we're working.
All right. Now it's official on the record, August 1st. I'll keep you accountable for that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Awesome. Now, you like traveling, right?
I do. I love to travel. Yep.
All right. Let me take you down a different type of traveling, down memory line. Go back to when you were young, growing up. When we're kids, people around us, parents, family, teachers, relative, neighbors, always ask us, Andy, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer as a young boy to that question?
I actually was a teacher. I knew very early on that I wanted to be a teacher. I actually was at a church youth camp, and I felt God call me into education. So it was never I never really had a big question in my mind. I guess at one point when I went to SeaWorld, I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I think every kid that ever goes to SeaWorld wants to do that. But
Yeah.
that was pretty short.
So for your teacher, is it because you had someone in your family was a teacher and that was inspiration for you, or just because you felt it inside of you that you want to be a teacher?
I think yes, and my dad was a Sunday school teacher. He was
Okay.
phenomenal. Always brought concepts to life and made them fun and interesting and that kind of stuff. So I had that. My mom was a Sunday school teacher, so I had that modeled as well. I was the band nerd, right? So I was in band, and I wanted to be a music teacher, right? So that was my goal coming out of high school, was to come back and be the middle school band teacher at our middle school here. So ended up getting a minor in music, so not quite the music major, but I did teach music for 3 years, so that was a blast.
So that kind of answers the question in a way. So growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
I loved school. I didn't work as hard as I probably should have in high school. I ended up, on the honor roll and top 20, but I didn't take the harder classes, which I probably could have, which kind of bit me in the butt come college, because it got a lot harder. But yeah,
Yes.
I've always enjoyed school. I love learning.
And in school, what was your favorite subject?
If music is a subject, then I would say music. I was in band and choir.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I enjoyed sports as well, but reading was okay. Math was not so much. Science not so much. So yeah, I kind of leaned more towards the arts.
Was there any subject that you did not like at all?
I was not a big fan of math.
Yeah.
I can do the basics, but my son is exceptional in math, and he passed me in 7th grade. So more power
Beautiful.
to him.
You mentioned sports. What sports did you enjoy the most growing up?
I played basketball up to my
Wow.
freshman year, up to my sophomore year rather, and then I ran track all through middle school and high school. So I enjoyed both of those.
So
I still play softball from time to time. So yeah, basketball and track.
so basketball what was your position?
I'm a tall guy, so I was a center. Yep, I
Ah,
was a big guy down in the paint, knocking
what's
them
your
around.
height?
I want to say 6'2", but I'm really probably 6'1" at this point. I guess I'm getting old enough that I'm starting to shrink. So 6'1" still tall enough, right?
Did you at any time at any growing up any inspiration to get like a scholarship and pursue basketball further?
No, and I've actually had conversations with my boys about this. I regret this still to this day. I made the JV team on my sophomore year, my second year in high school, and I chose to do band rather than continue on with basketball. And I could have done both. It just was I music and band was more important to me, so I just prioritized that, and I regret that decision. So I've tried to convey that to my boys, is try to do as much as you can, even if it makes you busy. Don't give up on your, and it's not even your dreams. I knew I wasn't going to be a NBA all-star type deal, but it's still something I enjoyed. So
Mm-hmm. What kind of what kind of student were you? Let's say we're in the same class in grade 10, 11. Were you more like the nerd? Were you the quiet guy? Were you more like the life of the class? Were you the chatterbox? What kind of guy were you back then?
That's a good question. I think I was probably pretty similar to what I am now. I'm pretty outgoing with people I know. So I wouldn't say I was the life of the party, but I was not, the quiet nerd that never talked type deal. I would speak up and try to contribute and that kind of stuff. I wasn't so much of the class clown or anything like that. So I feel like I was a good student, that was sociable to the point where I wasn't getting in trouble for
Were you popular with the ladies
it.
in high school and college?
Yeah, little bit. I'm gonna regret this portion of it. Yes, I dated a lot in high school and college. It's kind
Hey,
of the
it's
ongoing. It's the ongoing joke with my family, because my wife dated one guy before she found me, and we got married. So opposite ends of the spectrum. I've really tried to impress upon my boys to be much better than I was, of being thoughtful and not dating as much as I did. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's a rite of passage. It's natural. So, anyways, beautiful.
Anyway.
What was your very first job? And do you remember how much you got paid for that very first job?
I did some lawn mowing jobs, get like $5 a
Yeah.
lawn type deal. I think my first real job, other than just doing lawns for ladies at church or whatever, was I worked for a fence company, and it was fiberglass fence. I thankfully that's not a thing anymore, but we would have to like sand them down. And I remember just my hands and my arms being on fire from having so many fiberglass shards in my hand.
Wow.
Hated that job. Absolutely
Can
hated that
imagine.
job.
Can
It was
imagine.
not worth it. The $10 an hour or whatever it was.
How long did you last at that job?
Just one summer. Just
Okay.
one summer. Yeah.
Okay.
I had another kind of crazy job in college. I worked concrete. I would help pour concrete and do that kind of stuff. And again, not my favorite thing, but it paid pretty well, and it made me want to stay in college and get a degree. I didn't want to do that the rest of my life.
Absolutely. You mentioned music and band. How did you get into a band?
Well, so it starts really early on. My dad played trumpet as well, so I always wanted to play trumpet. There's pictures of me barely able to, I don't know, probably barely able to walk, probably 5 or 6 playing a trumpet type deal way before I could play it in the high school and the middle school. So I knew that I wanted to play trumpet for a long time. And then I got into the band in college just because my friends had the band and they needed kind of a trumpet player. I'm a decent singer as well, so I would sing kind of the harmony backup stuff, and then play the horn lines and that kind of stuff. So it wasn't really a ska band per se. It was more like a rock band with horns, but we had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, let's move forward. Looking at your path from the time you left school to now, how would you describe it? Would you say it was pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing? Once you get into one lane, you were set for life, or was it more like turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
I kind of separate my professional career in kind of 2 different lanes. I got my bachelor's degree in elementary education. I came back here to my hometown in Cortez to be a music teacher in elementary school and loved that. I think my second year I went back for my master's because I wanted to be a principal. So I pursued that, ended up doing, classroom teaching. I was an assistant principal for 3 years in 2 different schools, and had applied for principal jobs a couple times and just got passed over. And then about that time was when this little guy came into my life. It's a little electronic device that ended up kind of changing the course of my life, which it seems kind of silly at this point. But this little clicker was a really awesome technology at the time, and I'm kind of a techie guy. So when I saw that and I saw how it could impact classrooms and education and this kind of stuff, I dove into that, and then that kind of got me down this path of educational technology. So I ended up leaving the schools, which was a guaranteed paycheck, to go into ed tech sales. And that is kind of what led to the path where I now own Interactive Learning, and we work with 500,000 cadets all across the country with our technology. So it's been a very interesting path. So not too many twists and turns, just one major one.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but before that, there's a saying that says, change your story, change your life. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves in our head all day long. So when you, Andy, you were at some of your lowest, darkest times in your life so far, how did you change your story internally to change your reality externally?
That's an ongoing thing, right? I mean, you're never arrived. I would say I lost my dad about a year ago, and that's been really tough. Yeah, thank you. I've got an amazing support system. My wife and family and everybody is lovely, and they kind of help me through that. But in addition to that, I worked with a business coach at the start of the year, and his big thing was I'll pull it up here, just a little shameless plug here, just because he's awesome. He talks about self-worth, right? Raising your self-worth and how that kind of clears your path to success. And that has been honestly just that has changed the course of my mental health. Absolutely. It has. Just because, when you are sabotaging yourself just in your mind, you're never gonna recoup. So finding this and getting on this path of raising my self-worth, not keeping myself down, doing some mental health practices, that kind of stuff. That's really, that and my faith and my family has really kind of turned me around from the darkest times.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing this book. And I remember you sharing this book even in our master class with mastermind class with Jay. So I'll definitely check it out. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
let me see. Tell us about your business.
So I run an educational technology company. We've got lots of different solutions, but really at the heart of that, our goal is to impact education, make it more engaging, both for the learner, for the instructor or the teacher, and give them solutions to make things more efficient, all while making it more engaging. And eGlass is one of them. We've got audience response systems, video learning. We've got interactive flat panels that make it a super engaging environment where students can come up there and everybody's working on different aspects of things. So yeah, lots of different product lines, but really at the core of it, we're just trying to make learning more engaging and more of a thoughtful process behind the whole thing.
But tell us more about this incredible, tool that you're using, this eGlass. How did you get into that? How did you even find it? What's the genesis of this?
Right. So and I won't go through this whole thing, but just so they can see what it looks like. So how it happened was a friend of mine that used to work and sell these, right? Sell the clickers. He saw that I had bought Interactive Learning, this company, and he's like, hey, I'm not sure if you'd be interested, but we have this really cool new light board. And he actually shot a video. So I mean, it started like this. He's like, hey, so I'll say Payman. Hey, Payman, this is Luke. Just wanted to shoot this really quick video for you, see what you're thinking. And he just gave me like a 60-second clip of like how awesome this video is, and this light board was, and I was hooked. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I dialed him up, and we got going, and that was a year and a half ago. So I've been on the warpath, preaching eGlass ever since then. I think it's a super cool technology.
But tell us what makes this super glass so powerful, so unique.
So I think there's a couple things that make it unique. This is kind of what it looks like. So there's lights all the way around. The little control panel right here allows me to turn my lights up and down so I can disappear. I can make my text disappear if I wanted to. The other thing, I think the thing that probably makes this more impactful than other things is that light boards have been around for a long time, but people had to do it on their own. They had to create their own. They had to get the glass, mount up all of the lights and this kind of stuff. They had to put an expensive camera on the other end. And then in editing on the backside, they had to flip the image and do all this kind of stuff. So the long story short is this is a one-stop shop. It has all of the hardware that you need, the document cameras here, there's a microphone there, and the software that wraps all this together flips the text for me so I don't have to do anything backwards. And it allows me to bring in digital images, PowerPoints, PDFs, videos. So it's everything all in one spot, and I don't have to kind of put it together or do it myself. So that's what I think makes it unique, is that it's everything that you need to do a awesome virtual presentation comes with it.
So can you do like let's say while using this class, to like a PowerPoint presentation or share your screen or play a video, for example?
Yep. So yeah, we can do all of those. So this is actually a PDF, and notice that it kind of takes the background away, which is kind of a cool thing. So that's what a PDF looks like. Here's a PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, wrong one. So here, sorry, grabbed the wrong one. Here's a PowerPoint that we did kind of in a vertical stance at this point. So it has all of these. So if I needed to, underline, it's just one USB and it's easy to learn. I can circle all that stuff because it just makes it see-through. So that's another really cool aspect of the software, is that it allows you to do that. It's called Chameleon, where you can kind of see through it. So yeah, PDFs, PowerPoints, images. It's actually really cool. I can actually just go out to like a website. I'm just going to look for, tiger was the first thing that popped in my head. So I'm just going to grab an image of a tiger off the right-hand side here, and I can just drag that in just like that. So without really any plan ahead of time, if I have images or documents or whatever, I can just grab those and drag them in and then save them to my library and kind of pull them up later. So it's super, super simple to integrate with what you're already using.
One thing I noticed when we were going to that masterclass with Jay is that you were taking a bunch of notes and then you were taking a screenshot before erasing it. So where does that screenshot go? Do you create like a special folder where it saves them for you, or tell us about
Yep.
that?
So I'm not sure you can see this over here. There's a little pull-out menu. So this actually,
Okay.
here's my notes from yesterday, right? So action
Oh,
items
yes.
from last night's podcast class. So that's an image that's just saved on the is it showing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's an image that's just saved on my computer that I can share out with other people later. I can also do a video playback. So I hit the record button down here, and now it's recording everything on the screen, and it's recording my voice. So now when I hit stop, now I've got a video that I can share with other people. So it's works both with images and videos that you can record.
So for example, let's say we're doing this podcast right now, or last night when I was doing the presentation for the program. Are you able to record that as well as record my screen and what's on the screen?
So the software itself just captures everything that's right here, right?
Okay.
So if you're needing to record your camera, you probably do that through Zoom. And honestly, so another thing just to be aware of here is right now, I'm not sharing my screen. This is just my camera. So in Zoom, I just say, hey, use eGlass as my camera, and that allows it to use the camera that's right there, but it flips the image so everything looks right, and I can continue to do my annotations and bring in stuff, but it's all through my camera.
So are you using the eGlass in conjunction with your computer, or is your eGlass basically replacing your computer? Or does it come with a keyboard or?
Yeah, so it works with both PC and Mac. There is a software that goes with that. It just registers as a document camera. So I just plug in from the eGlass right into my computer, and then it says, hey, there's a document camera plugged in. When I go onto Zoom, I say, I want to use that one. And then that's how you get this image. So it's really, really easy to use.
Wow, powerful. Because when I saw you the first time in our class using this, I was, whoa, what is this guy doing? What is that? That's the coolest thing I've seen.
Right.
Do you get that often from people when you talk to them?
We really do. And I mean, that sounds kind of braggadocious, but it is one of those things that when people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Tell me more about it. So I guess that means to me that I need to be out there talking to more people, because it to your point, it does kind of sell itself once people see it, if they're the right customer. And I was going to say, I did, this is probably worth mentioning here. So, if you're teachers, higher ed, business people that are doing a lot of virtual meetings, you're professional, we actually have a lot of really interesting, big time people with like millions of followers on TikTok asking about this, because they want to stand out, right? They want their videos to look a little bit different. And one of the other advantages here is I never have to turn my back, right? So if I wanted to do a regular whiteboard, I would have to turn my back. So if I can stay forward facing, I can point, I can gesture. There's nothing else out there that allows me to keep that forward facing position and have all my content.
You should be doing webinars nonstop all day long to promote that.
Yeah, you're right. I should
run traffic to it, and seriously, because you have something powerful. You just answered my next question, which was your ideal client? So you just managed to just answer that. Wow. This is truly a product that not only itself, but it can definitely, we all talk about in the coaching industry and business and even e-commerce, we talk about being specific, having a specific target audience, but for you, it's literally one of the only exceptions that can benefit pretty much anyone.
Right. And that is a good thing and a bad thing. It makes it harder to figure out how do I go to market with this, right? I mean, the approach to business people like yourself is going to be very different than K-12 or higher ed. There's a military aspect. There's just so many different ways you could do this. So yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. Absolutely.
So how long has this product been around for?
I've been aware of it for about 1.5 years. I think it's been out for 2-ish years. It did come out after COVID, which that's one of the first things everybody says is, man, if I would have had this during COVID, my classroom instruction would have been so much easier, which is true. But there's still a lot of schools that are either doing hybrid learning. I'm working with a school in Tulsa Public Schools that they have what's called the Modern Classroom Project, and they have to record all of their lessons. So rather than trying to, put their phone up like this and having to record their lesson and have to go back and edit it, they can just use this, record it right there, and they have their lighting just right and whatever they need to do. So it's like a built-in recording studio. So it makes things much more efficient.
So in what sizes does it come?
So there's 2 sizes. they're always measured kind of side to side like a TV. The smaller one is a 35-inch and the larger one is a 50-inch. I have actually never used the 50-inch. I've always had the 35. It fits great. I've got a sit stand desk right now that's about 4 feet wide, and I've only got probably about a foot on this side. I mean, it fills up. It's about 3.5 feet wide, so it's pretty large side to side.
Is it easy to set up and get it going?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it comes in a pretty large, it looks like a big TV box type deal. Space wise, we usually say about 6 feet. I've got about 6 feet this way and 6 feet in depth because that document camera sticks out the back. Here's another movie magic one. This is just a black curtain. A lot of people think that that's, you know, kind of a green screen type deal. This is just a white wall. I think the black kind of makes it pop a little bit better. But I mean, it would work with regular dry erase markers if you wanted to do it this way as well.
Do the markers come with a screen, or that's something extra?
The backdrop is something extra. We do have kind of a I can help out with that just because there's what's the right word? Especially if you're in like a drop ceiling. A lot of classrooms have like the drop ceiling. We and I won't take credit for it. My buddy Luke figured out this awesome thing that you can have magnetic grommets, and you just like attach them to the little drop ceiling, and then that way you can just kind of pull it when you're done, and there's no installation if you go that route. So there's some different ways. We've kind of cracked the code on the best way to make it look just pristine and get your backdrop just looking good as well. So
but does it work with any marker, or does it come with its own marker or special markers?
So it comes with these. They're called neon. There's two different. There's an Expo neon marker, which it doesn't come with this. I think they come with the Quartet neon markers. They just pop. I just think they look really cool, and it allows me to turn this on and off. Right, that it has kind of this neon infusion type deal that allows it to do that. If you were using just a regular dry erase marker on a white screen, that would be fine, but the lights really wouldn't do anything for that.
And are those included in the package, or those extra?
Yeah, it comes with 4. They're about $11 for a pack of 4 after that. But yeah, and it comes, you know, we've got, you know, just a regular thing to wipe it off. Another, I guess, little shameless plug. We have these iCloth things, which you can get on Amazon. I could get you a better price for them, but these are great for electronics because it allows you to kind of wipe this free, and it doesn't have all the streaks. So if you're needing to clean computers or this kind of stuff, there's not, it's just the right amount of moistness that it's not going to damage your electronics. So we use those to clean them up as well.
So how does it work on a day-to-day basis when, for example, you just fire up your computer, once you open your computer, you turn on the app that is associated with the glass, and you just turn it on as simple as a TV, and it's ready to go?
Absolutely. So there's a little there's a couple switches on the bottom here. This one, there's actually 4 lights all the way around here. I like to do the bottom one just because it kind of illuminates right here. And then on the left-hand side, this one just turns everything off. So I've got a couple switches, and then the lighting right here. There is an exposure button over here. So for different skin tones, you can get your skin tone looking just right. I'm as white as they come type deal. So I got to get that cranked up pretty high right there. So
I see that you're in a dark place. Do you have to be in a dark room to use it, or can it be, or does
yeah, I'm actually not in a dark room. I don't have my lights on, but even if I turn my lights on in my office, you really can't tell. I have a hood that goes over the back of it that kind of keeps all of the light away from that. If I lift that up, just as an FYI, you can kind of see that my my office window is right back there. So if I didn't have that right there, that would be a little bit distracting. So I kind of leave that hood down to keep things nice and clean.
So it would help to be in a dark environment. Okay.
Either a dark environment or have the hood over the top type deal. It's just it's a little thing that goes over the top and shields the camera from light. So it works both ways.
Do you guys ship to Malaysia?
We have not shipped to Malaysia. They're actually produced in China. We had some conversations with the Japanese businessman trying to get going in Japan. So at that point, it would be a matter of a matter of scale. You know, how many we would want type deal. So we'll figure it out.
You know, I'm interested. We can talk about it offline. When I get to Malaysia, I would like to see to be able to promote this myself, because I only use it because I see phenomenal opportunity with this, you know? Yep.
Honestly, so and I think you had even mentioned this, that your first introduction to this was on Jay's
Yeah.
masterclass, and I was just taking notes, right? So I mean, that's I never thought I would be kind of a professional note taker, but I mean, that could be something that even if you don't have it, if I'm in the class, I'm taking notes type deal. It's like, hey, Andy's here to kind of take notes for us. If you have questions about that, I mean, we could do it that route, even if you don't have it there for you.
That's what I thought. I thought you were Jay's note taker.
Yeah, right. A little more than that, but I'll take it. Jay's a cool guy.
No, seriously, I'm absolutely in love with the product. And I mentioned that I'm a nomad. I move all the time. But once I get my own place, seriously, I will get one myself, because to use it myself, because I know this would make my work more productive. But also I see phenomenal opportunity for this, So if I were to ever come back to Canada and look for something to do full time, I think this would be right up at the top of the list.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, we do have we don't call it an affiliate program because my company is interactive learning. That's what INTLRN is, interactive learning. We have ILCs, interactive learning consultants, that are business people, are teachers that are like, hey, this is an awesome thing. Either they have it, or they kind of, like you said, refer them back to me, and then it's just a kind of a partnership type deal to kind of help the sale go through, and then we can offer a percentage of that sale if you bring in leads. So that's something, even without having it there, if you're funneling leads to us, kind of like Jay's doing, then we're happy to give you a cut of that.
You have like some kind of partnerships available where I want to be like a full distributor myself and reseller?
I don't own, so Pathway Innovations is the name of the company. If you wanted to go full on in, we could set you up with them if you would want to, or if you wanted to work through us. The nice thing about working with interactive learning is that we handle all of the billing and the processing and that kind of stuff. So it just depends on how much people want to dive into that. If you kind of need to be in the ed tech space full time if you're going to make a living on this. Pathway has lots of different solutions. They have HoverCam is another really thing that they're well known for, is document cameras. They've got lots of other solutions type deal. eGlass is just one of them.
Okay, what did you say is the name of the company? Pathway what?
Pathway Innovation. So you can go to eGlass.io. I'll just put it out here. So there's two websites that they have. eGlass.io will get you to this one.
Yeah.
And then the other one is hovercam.com.
Okay.
So those are that is the manufacturer type deal. My website, for what it's worth, INTLRN.com. It shows off all of the stuff that we're doing, not just the eGlass type deal. We do have an eGlass page. But yeah, like I said, we're doing the audience response systems. We've got a middle school leadership program. We've got lots of different irons in the fire, as it were.
Yeah, I want to talk about that to you offline, because when I go to Malaysia, I have some really good contacts. Maybe you can bring that to the not only education, but also business world over there. So let's talk about that after. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I just love it. Listen, the only thing holding me back right now from getting one is that I'm leaving on Monday next week.
Right.
I don't think I'll get it on time before then, and I don't feel like carrying and dragging a big thing with me through
it's a
an
little large
international flight. You're gonna charge me like $1,000 just for getting it on the plane.
Right. We'll figure out a better time.
Yeah. So definitely ask around if you guys deliver to Malaysia. I'm serious. I would love to. Maybe I would be open to having one sent to me just for my own use, and then also to show it to people when I go there. That would be the best way, because it's a product that sells itself literally. Just using it, and yeah. What is the pricing? So you said you have two models, two sizes. What is the price range, the investment for those?
So we kind of there's different pricing structures. Let me just bring this up here. So what we do at Interactive Learning is we feel like we have a lot of value to add outside of just sending you the actual the eGlass right here. So
can you make it a bit bigger? Can you make it bigger so you can really see?
You bet. So
Okay.
there's three tiers. I'm just going to go off camera here because you don't really need to see
Sure.
me at this point. There's three tiers here. The first one is kind of done on your own. So you're paying for shipping. There's online tutorials and that kind of stuff, but there's really no follow-up or support on our side back on the back end, and you're paying for your own shipping. So that's kind of the basics. That is at $1,000, and that's for the 35-inch. We recommend at least going to the preferred, just because that's going to give them some live personalized training. That's actually what I was doing just before we got on here with Rufus. If you remember Rufus Trotman.
Yes.
Yep, he just got his. So we were going through that, getting his software set up, getting the lighting figured out, and the hood and all this kind of stuff. There's some things that you have to do to make it look the way that you want it to. And we also give them an Amazon shopping list type deal of, like, if you want to do make it look the best that you want it to, you need to get a sit stand desk, you need to get a monitor and a stand and some different things. So we're going to give them that accessories that we recommend that you get right there. So that's kind of the middle one. That's the preferred. And then the preferred plus is basically everything from before. We're going to actually purchase and deliver all of the accessories, and I'm going to show up on site to do an on-site training. So the three tiers are on your own, virtual training, on-site training. Those are the
And the
three
on-site
tiers.
training, is it limited to the continental US, or would you show up in Malaysia, for example?
We would do different price, but yes, if the pricing is right, you cover my travel and timing,
Okay.
then absolutely I'll go to Malaysia. Heck yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome. All right. That's beautiful. No, that's something that I'm really, listen, my background is e-commerce, and this product just blew me away as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's one of the most unique products out there. And again, with what we talked about before, there's just so many people that can benefit from this. So we just need to get it in front of them and get them trained up on that. I'm a big believer that I would rather talk myself out of a sale if it's not something that's going to be beneficial for the person, right? So if this is something that's going to make sense and it's going to help you, then let's do it. Let's make sure that you're trained up so you actually use it correctly. It probably, another thing you said, I wouldn't say it scares me, but it hurts my heart to buy technology and then let it sit there and collect dust.
Oh,
Like that
absolutely.
hurts my heart. So I would much rather, talk with them up front and say, hey, it's going to be an additional cost to do training, but that will make sure that you're actually using it. You're getting the best out of it. It's not just another, trinket that's sitting in the corner collecting dust.
All right. So you said the $999 or $1,000, just the item itself, the 35-inch, and then the $1,500, is it the bigger screen plus a software and training on it?
So those are all the same size. Those are all 35-inch.
Even the big
all,
one, the big one with the, okay, I see.
Mhm.
And then on the higher end package, the $29.99, that one you said you get the item, the product, you get the software, you get the training, and then you also show up in person. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
And then
So another thing, just while we're talking prices here, just something to be aware of. There is no software cost. Software comes
okay.
for free. There's no annual cost, which is another big thing. Most software is
Yes.
kind of moving to annual renewal. There is no annual renewal, and it has a 5-year warranty. There's actually a video of the CEO of Pathway with a hammer, just like going to town.
Wow.
Does not crack. It is ridiculously sturdy. So anything that happens within 5 years, we'll replace it for you.
So beautiful. What's your sales process so far?
Sales process or sales?
So how do you,
Sorry.
Your sales cycle, for example?
So, I mean, again, with every one of those ideal customers, it's a little bit different, right? I worked with Rufus. He's an entrepreneur. He's like, all right, swipe my card type deal. Worked with a lawyer the other day, swipe my card type deal. Working with the school, 1,000 red tapes that you got to go through the sales cycle and this kind of stuff, and be on their vendors list and this kind of stuff. Military is its whole other thing. I mean, everybody has kind of its own sales process like this. We do have a lot of the 35-inch in stock. So if people want them, once we get payment, we can ship it out the same week and get it to them within a week.
So I guess those people, as soon as they see it, they pretty much, they see the value, or they still have to do a lot of educating?
I would say for some reason, it seems like educators, just the K-12 world, needs more, not convincing, but needs more conversation about this than do business people. They're like, if I'm still doing virtual meetings, and I think that's probably one of the biggest disconnects, I think I even have that in here, is I still think that this is a great hybrid learning tool. Everybody sees this as just a virtual thing. If I was a teacher, I would still use this in my class because I could have my computer hooked up to my projector or my interactive flat panel up here. Everybody's watching up here, but I can stay engaged and I can point and I can do this kind of stuff rather than having to turn my back. So it's still a great tool in class, in addition to being a virtual one as well. So that's some people get it, some people don't, but that is my personal feeling on this.
Is the screen a touch screen?
It is not. Nope. It's just glass. So I'm actually looking through. Actually, I have it. I was doing this with Rufus. Let me show you my setup here, just so you can kind of see what it looks like.
Oh, I see.
So this is kind of what it looks like from behind. So it's on this big, nice sit-stand desk. I've got a monitor on one side, my laptop on the other. Here's the document camera. This is the hood I was talking about that kind of goes over the back of it. And then from my vantage point, as I'm looking right now, I'm off to the left-hand side on my laptop. You are over here on the right-hand side. So I've got my Zoom, I've got my windows, whatever I need to drag onto it. I've got stationed kind of over here, and I just drag it onto the software that's on this one over here. That's kind of what the setup looks like.
And I guess it's a screen that is best used if you're doing like a standing desk and not like sitting, I guess.
It works both ways. I like to move around a lot, and I like to be able to kind of come over here and this kind of stuff. I actually have a wealth financial advisor that sits in his awesome gaming chair and just sketches out people's 401ks all day long. He does this, probably 6 or 7 hours a day on eGlass, so it's perfect for that as well.
This is a no-brainer for anyone that does any kind of education or online or teaching, or I mean, this is brilliant. Wow.
Yep. I've had some really interesting conversations with a few churches. And they're saying like this would be great for our online education and this kind of stuff. But if I wanted to record, if I'm doing, I don't know, like fundamentals of faith, and I wanted to kind of do this and kind of sketch something out, I could record it here. But they're saying eventually we want to move it to where it's on the stage. And if I needed to make like a diagram or something like that, I could go over and do that and then go back over here and continue teaching and preaching or whatever. So it's super flexible and kind of whatever area you need it for.
Beautiful. I'm loving it. Wow. Share with us, if you can, an example of the most remarkable transformation you've seen from one of your clients so far using this product or any of your services.
Well, let me kind of circle back around to this, because this is kind of what got me into this audience response system. So imagine these little remote controls in every little hand in a classroom, right? So every student has one of these. I put up on the screen, guys, all right, guys, is it A, B, C, or D, right? Where we taught a math lesson or whatever, and everybody rings in, I think it's A, B, C, or D. So that's really honestly what got me down this path is this type of technology. All of JROTC, which is 500,000 cadets in the United States, use, not that one, they use this one, use this type of technology to engage with their learning, right? So I'm going through, I ask a question, I can type in this response, I can take tests. So they're all using that as of right now. So my story behind that was, the thing I loved about that was it allows students to answer without having to raise their hand, right? Everybody's involved in the learning. It's not just the students that's raising their hand. And I had a sweet little girl named Kelly that was super quiet, would never talk. But when she started using this, she started gaining confidence because she was getting the right answers. And we would have never known that had we not given her a way to anonymously say, hey, I know the answer. And it kind of built up her confidence. She started sharing more. So that was one that always stuck with me on that. So that's one area. I would say for the eGlass thing, that Ryan guy, the financial advisor, he said this has fundamentally changed how I do presentations, right?
Absolutely.
Rather than having to turn my back or having to go out to a website and show this and try to explain it, I just bring it on here and I circle this and like, here's what you do. And if you put in this amount of money, this is what it's going to do. So it's just fundamentally changed how he presents and shares information. So those are two.
And I can pretty much imagine that just the fact of using this technology is probably going to help them close faster because he appears to them, to the prospect, to be the coolest financial advisor ever talked to.
Right, right. And the other thing, and you mentioned this before, being able to share those notes, right? So when I'm done, I just click snap, and then I can share this out. This is how I do all of my internal meetings, is when we're talking about stuff. All right, you know, Tamara, I need you to do this, Crystal, do this type deal. And we have it all right there, and we just share out the notes. And then that's all they need to do. They don't need to go back and listen to the whole video. They just look at the snaps, that's what they're called, of what happened during the meeting, and that gives them enough information to kind of go off of. So it does make things even more efficient, I think.
So where are those snaps stored? Does it come like a what do you call it, like a storage with a specific amount, or can you save them on the cloud online, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I have the option to put them wherever you want to. It just goes into the software folder. It's called Fusion software. So there's an images folder and a documents and different things like that. So I can put that out on Dropbox if I wanted to. I just have it saved locally to my computer at this point.
Okay, beautiful.
So,
wow, that's amazing.
same thing with the videos. The videos are stored locally, and then you can upload them wherever you need to, or put them in a Dropbox or YouTube. Yep.
That's amazing. Wow. So how do you think this can really revolutionize and transform the world, the way business is done, the way presentation is done, the way education is done, the way coaching is done, pretty much everything?
Yeah, right. So you mentioned coaching. I have to show this. So like I said, I love basketball. My son is a little basketball player. So imagine your coach saying, you know, all right, guys, we're going to come down here, and you know, we're going to get into a zone read right here, and the ball is going to be kicked over here, and then they're going to come over here and close out type deal. I mean, there's just so many cool things we can do. And again, I can take a snapshot if I wanted to, or I could hit record and just record as I'm kind of talking through this. So to your question, how is it going to change it? I think it can fundamentally change everything, because and I'll share this with you later if you're interested. There's a document that has a bunch of new research, because this is relatively new, talking about the impact of pointing and gazing. You don't get that, right? When I turn my back, you can't see that I'm looking up here, but when I'm maintaining eye contact and looking forward, I'm like, all right, here, and then we kind of gesture right there. There's just so many fundamental changes in presenting this way that it's really hard to quantify how much it's going to change things. It really could be pretty substantial if people get into it.
This is valuable. This is gold. You know, you showed an example of, for example, implementing this in basketball. Is the half court, is it installed in the computer, or did you download that? Can that be applied to any other sport, like soccer, football, handball, tennis, whatever, volleyball? Does it come with pre-installed templates? You just choose, or how does that work?
So there are quite a few templates, and we can actually jump into. So here's charts and graphs if you want to do a Venn diagram. If you want to do, you know, as a teacher, here's your spelling tests, kids. All right, let's go through here. Let's talk through, you know, our spelling words, and we have them. This is another thing, just as a side note here. We actually used this awesome eGlass at a JRTC event last summer, and we had the students back here. So imagine not just this being a teacher device where it's up in front of the room, but you give them something like this, and they have to go out here and they have to do this thing. They hit snap, right? And then that is their capture of what it was that they were doing for that assignment. They absolutely loved it. We had 4 students just crammed in here, and they were drawing lines here and connecting dots and this kind of stuff. And then they got to do their snap, and that was kind of like their, that was their proof that they did their work. And we can kind of go back and say, hey, did they spell this right? Did they connect the right dots? So super cool. All that to say, yes, there's the templates, there's images that we can bring in, documents. So those are the 3 main things. Any images that I want to save, that I want to use again, I can grab images there, just scroll up and down to make it smaller or larger. I can do PDFs and PowerPoints, and I can remove the background.
You have templates for music?
Yes, sure do. Where's music? Right there. So if we wanted to do treble clef right there, music staff, right? So we could go through a piece of music if we wanted to, or say, all right, class. And I often turn this off because I don't really need to see myself at this point.
Sure.
You know, all right, guys, come up here, and where is the F? Where is the F on the treble clef, right? Is it here? No, it's right there. So there's your F. All right. Where's your FACE, right? Face. Back to my music days right there. So yeah, so many different things you can do with this. It's kind of incredible.
Can you pull up the template for soccer, for example, for
Sure.
football?
Sports. Soccer field. There you go.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Right. So
My head is bursting with ideas right now.
yep. I don't know how to fill out a soccer. I know the goalie's back here.
There's
And that's about
11
as far as I
players.
got.
Yes, 11. Four
Yeah.
back at the back, three in the midfield, three in the front, and whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's beautiful. Do you know
Yep.
if any sporting organization are using that currently?
I don't know. Nope, I don't. I mean, we're in the process of trying to get the word out to K-12 schools and this kind of stuff. But yeah, it is one of those things. Like, I could spend 24 hours a day talking to people and then still
Sure.
have, 1,000 people that I didn't talk to. So it's a matter of,
Absolutely.
finding the right people, talking to them, getting this in front of them. And honestly, the virtual is the easiest way to do that. Remember how I said that was how it hooked me, is when I saw him writing my name on this, I was like, what? I'm sold already, type deal. So I just need to get this in front of folks. Hopefully this will help with that. Yeah.
I felt exactly the same way as soon as I saw you taking notes during that week. I said, wow, I need to get on a call with this guy. So I was glad.
Mhm.
Yeah. So wow, beautiful. Awesome. Listen, we can talk about this for hours. I absolutely love the product. I absolutely love your passion. And I know you will achieve fantastic things with this. Definitely let's talk offline about that, because I want to talk about certain things about this, but let's move forward. So now tell us, what is a cause that is very dear to your heart?
There's quite a few. My family and I support quite a few. What Food for the Hungry is one of them. World Vision is another one. So we've sponsored a few kids around the world. Just with that, I mean, it's not a lot, but it feels, feels like if God entrusts us the money to us, we need to do the right thing to do that. So that's something that we care for. So World Vision is another one that is near and dear to our heart. They help out with natural
Beautiful.
disasters and that kind of stuff, and they have a Christian focus. So they're always, just doing it with the right heart. So those are two.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, let's start wrapping things off. And to finish, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid fire questions again, but this time on advices. Ready?
Okay, let's do it.
What's the best piece of advice you've received so far in your life?
Ooh, keep God number one in your life.
Beautiful. And what's the worst piece of advice you've received so far, other than get a job?
Probably advice to date this girl, certain girl.
Speaking of that, how did you, if I may, how did you realize that, hey, she's the one? And how
a
soon did
couple
you realize that? How soon did you
I
really?
think sooner than she did. Yeah, I think sooner than she did. We were hanging out, and she's really into sports, which just made my heart happy. She sat down and watched football, and she knew what she was talking about. I'm like, I love this girl. She was
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
Right. So there was that. But I remember, and I don't remember what the argument was about. We got into some argument, and I remember thinking I was going to lose her, and I like lost it. Like, I was like, I cannot lose this girl. So that was the moment. I'm like, whatever it takes, I'm going to make sure that she's around. And it wasn't that big a deal for her, but I was just afraid I was going to lose her. So that was the moment, I think.
And was it so to speak an easy close to convince her to marry you?
Yeah. I mean, we felt the same way about each other. We dated for about a year, and then had about engaged for about 7 months or so. So yeah, it was
Beautiful.
relatively
Beautiful. Fantastic.
19 years in July, just FYI.
Wow. Next year, the big 2.0. You guys got to do something amazing.
We're hoping to do New York City for our
Oh,
20th.
wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Now, imagine that you were blessed with a time machine and you can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Andy. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to him, knowing all that you know now?
I would say trust your gut and don't overthink things. I'm sometimes paralyzed by perfection. I don't move forward on things. That Jay talks about taking massive imperfect action. That's something still at 44 that I'm still working on. But I think there were times where I needed to move forward. I needed to let go of something or to switch to something else. And because I overthought something or wanted to be loyal to this or that or whatever the case, I didn't move when I needed to, didn't make the right decision at the right time. So I would say, just trust your gut, pray about it, and don't second guess yourself.
Beautiful. Love that. And that's an advice that even myself I need to follow, because we all overthink too much. I'm a perfectionist as well. And just as you said, and Jay says all the time, take imperfect action. Absolutely. Now, I know that you will soon have your podcast. Imagine that today you have your podcast, successful podcast, and today you're interviewing the most special person in the world, which is yourself. What's the first question that you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. The first question that comes to your mind.
What would you do to transform and improve education?
And what would be your answer?
Oh man. Sir Ken Robinson is one of my absolute favorite education philosophers, and he's got a really amazing video that talks about how our current education, I'm saying ours in the United States, is based on kind of the Industrial Revolution, where it's like, product in, product out, and there's very little modification as far as what a student's passion is. I know that, European schools and other schools are very early to kind of say, hey, what is your passion? What is it that you want to do? Let's start setting you up for that, rather than just putting them through the same path. Everybody gets the same math. Everybody gets the same science, this kind of stuff. When you have no intent or that you'll never use that in the future, that drives me nuts. I would say let's customize the students' education to get them set up for success earlier, rather than waiting till after high school.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, imagine that you had the entire world watching you, and you had 30 seconds. What would be your message to the world?
It would be a Christian message, honestly. It'd be like, Jesus loves you, and I would walk them through like, this is, he came, he died for you, he wants you to live with him forever in eternity. I would give a full-on preaching message, honestly, if I had 30 seconds with the world. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. The last question I ask, and that's my favorite question to ask all my guests, and that is, what is the smallest thing? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing that you've done in your life so far that has had the biggest, deepest, most profound positive impact in both your life and business. For me, for example, Andy, it's been starting my podcast. What about you?
I would say the big, and you said smallest, but the most important aspect was deciding to leave education and pursue this new career path. I mean, that was a very, very risky. I had 2 kids. We had a new house. It was not an easy decision, and without my wife's support and without feeling in my heart and my soul that this was the right decision, I would not have done that, and we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know about eGlass. I would still be kind of trudging away, trying to be a teacher and an administrator. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I live a much more fulfilled life. I can give my family a much richer experiences, travel, that kind of stuff. You can't do that as a teacher. So that was a fundamental change in my life and shift, was to kind of pursue this entrepreneurial business owning avenue.
I know it wasn't an easy decision, but how long was the process between the moment you introduced to this and the moment you said, you know what, I'm going all in. This is my path, my passion. This is where my heart is.
There was like a year-long process. I had been, and again, it wasn't with eGlass, it was with the clickers and different educational technologies 20 years ago, right? Things were different back then, but it took about a year. I had left the schools. I think I did a half year where I was working in the schools, half time doing sales and training and that kind of stuff. But that 1 year between leaving the schools and getting on with interactive learning was the crucible, as it were, right? Very, very lean months, and I kind of learned to hustle at that point. So that was the moment that I knew that if I was going to do this, I needed to work my tail off and surround myself with really good people.
And when did you know that you made the right choice?
I actually I don't have very many voicemails, but I saved the voicemail from my prior boss because it was all about, if this contract goes through, we can hire you on full time and put you on salary and the whole shebang. And I remember vividly, it was in October. He's like, hey, stick around and let's talk about this. And that was the moment that I'm like, I made the right decision to leave the school and pursue this. Was when I got that full time position and salary. That was the
You mean at
moment.
the education company?
Yeah, interactive learning. Yep. I now own the company that hired me. So.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, awesome. That's phenomenal. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so, Andy?
Let me throw this up here. So happy to connect with you in multiple ways. Let me just throw this up here, and then that way you'll have all my contact information, and you can scan this if you'd like to as well.
Sure.
There we go. So the little QR code takes you right to all my contact information, socials, different things like that. That is my cell phone. I ended up just getting rid of my office line just because I didn't use it as much. So that goes directly to me. And then you can book an appointment. If you go to tidycal.com/intlrn, you can book something with eGlass. You can just do a discovery, and then I'll give you my email here as well. Andy@intlrn.com. So, and again, Interactive Learning is the name of my company. We shorten it to INTLRN. So that's what that is.
Beautiful, awesome. Listen, Andy, I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world. I love your passion. I love your vision, your mission, your energy. Keep blessing the world with all of that, all you do, your presence. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you. Definitely going to be talking soon, me and you, because I'm still going to be here cheering for you for your podcast. And we're going to be doing a lot more of these together. So I salute you. As we say, have a fantabulous day. And talk to you.
Can I do a shameless plug for my
Sure.
my podcast? Is that
Absolutely.
all right? So,
yes.
it's not out yet, but it is going to be called the Empowered Learning Podcast. I don't have my artwork. I'd throw that up there.
Listen, don't worry. Once your podcast is up, when it's launched, before being launched, I'll bring you back on the podcast to have you talk about it. So don't worry. I'm looking forward. And you said when again? August 1st?
August 1st. Yep, you're holding my feet to the fire.
Today we're June 6th, so you have about what, 7 weeks? So cheering for you, brother. Yep. All right.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Have a wonderful day, my friend. Take care.
Yep.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.